Flamboyant and dynamic, Teruto Ishihara 1042 is as fan-friendly as they come. Yashabo is a man who is superbly confident in his striking, and for good reason. The man hits like a truck. To Ishihara, a strike that cannot knock his opponent out is a strike wasted. Even his knees and kicks used sparingly carry murderous intent, though he is far less proficient with them than he is with his hands. As a southpaw, his bread-and-butter punch is the left hook counter on advancing opponents. Unlike Conor McGregor or Takanori Gomi, who throw their counter left basically on a straight line, Ishihara tends to throw his counter a bit wider. As a result, his counter isn't as clean, but it enters on the blind angle, which is absolutely devastating when it connects. Both of his UFC wins were by knockout, when an advancing opponent crumpled from a counter they couldn't see and couldn't recover as Ishihara poured on the damage. It's kind of funny, because Ishihara isn't a natural counter fighter. He'd much rather be walking his opponents down and tagging them with his trademark power shots. Because of his style, his UFC losses make a lot of sense. Artem Lobov had no ground game to speak of, but possesses a granite chin and hits harder than Ishihara. As a result, Ishihara found himself outstruck the whole fight for the first time in his career. Gray Maynard may have a glass chin nowadays, but he's still an incredible wrestler and never let Ishihara get his offense flowing. Ishihara has the tools to be a great fighter, and his weaknesses are minimal. Hopefully he can do what little shoring up he needs to in order to become a mainstay in the top 10. Rolando Die. A sick part of me hopes that when Rolando Die 851 with 1 North Carolina gets his opponent hurt, he throws the finishing flurries while screaming, "Die, die, die," like a comic book villain. But Die Incredible is a far more stable man than I, and seems to be content to let his fists do the talking. For lack of a better word, Die's striking is disciplined. If he sees that a punch won't connect, he will pull it back with remarkable consistency. He will do this even in combination. There are multiple instances where one of his punches in a combination will miss and he'll pull the follow-up punch back to make it look like a feint. He'll never kick without setting it up within a combination, which lowers the risk of him getting taken down. He has wicked power in his hands, so when he does connect cleanly, his opponents feel it. He has a good submission game off the top, but isn't really a big threat off the bottom. His loss to Alex Caceres isn't a good indicator of his skill. Caceres is a giant, and his style of fighting can't be replicated. Die found himself outranged, outstruck, and outgrappled by the lanky Caceres and eventually took so much damage on his eye that the fight had to be stopped. Rather, his earlier losses show that he is vulnerable to being grounded for entire rounds, or simply clinched to limit his offense. Prediction: luckily for both Ishihara and Die, neither fighter excels at skills that are the other's weakness. Ishihara won't clinch or grapple with Die, and Die won't shoot for takedowns. So both fighters will get to employ the skills which they excel at. Die is more content to be a counter-striker than Ishihara, while the latter enjoys being the aggressor. The question is whether Ishihara or Die will win the punching exchanges that are undoubtedly going to ensue. Ishihara has more experience with brawling than Die, so expect him to land his monstrous left hand in an exchange and put the Filipino out. Ishihara Viet, go in to share your opinion. Why not write for us? Previous post, previous, next post, next.